What's up, guys? It has been a while. I have basically been dead for about a year on social media. I owe you guys a reason why. Let me tell you about last year. The past year has been crazy. Lots of big changes, lots of shifts, just craziness. So stay tuned because I have a lot to share. You're going to be hearing news about FarmStar, about my farm, about a ton of different things. All right, so beginning of the year, what's going on? COVID is like 1 year mature at this point. I actually have my journal here. I use a planner every year. Actually, this year is going to be the first year I don't use a passion planner. I'm actually not going to use a planner at all. I'll explain why. I discovered something in like September, October that I'm going to tell you about, and it's just transformed my life completely. Quick spoiler, it is a new software I discovered. So in the beginning of this journal, there's like a little planning section. So you write down, your 3-month goal, your 1-year goal, your 3-year goal, and your lifetime goal. And it's kind of funny looking back and seeing my 3-month goals and my 1-year goals. So I wanted to hire a virtual assistant, and I ended up getting my girlfriend Alyssa. Something happened with her work, and that's one thing that shifted the whole year drastically in Q1. So I did end up getting Alyssa, and then I also did end up hiring a VA at one point, but I ended up not needing her much as time went on. So Microgreens Mentors, that was a product that me and Dave launched back in January. It went really well. I aimed for 100 members. That was my goal, and we ended up getting 340 right away in those first 3 months. FarmStar is the software I've been developing. That's a big reason why this year was kind of like shot. Functional and moving into beta testing. At some point, I thought we were actually like getting this done, and no, this was a disaster. I'll explain a lot more. In the beginning of the year, I was actually doing something called the One Funnel Away Challenge, where I was learning how to kind of make a funnel online. That's something that was going on. I never ended up following all the way through with the program. I got super busy. More of that to come. I did end up getting some YouTube videos off, but only 2 sets in the beginning of the year, and then that one video with Dave. That's about it. So I apologize. You'll hear a lot more in the coming minutes why I just couldn't do YouTube last year. I did end up hitting 50,000 subscribers on YouTube though. That was a year goal, so that was cool that I hit that. And I was just 1,000 short of my Instagram goal of 10,000. I had a goal of buying a house and moving in. In the beginning of the year, we thought we were gonna have to leave the farm, so our plan was to buy a house with a big garage and run the farm out of it. This didn't end up happening, but we were looking at houses. We actually ended up staying at the farm, but at this point, we were dealing with some issues with the landlord, and we'll be leaving there pretty shortly. Oh, it was a crazy year. So a huge thing happened in the beginning of the year. I was finally able to move out of my parents' house with my girlfriend. We moved in together in February, and that was just a major, major change. Finally at 27 years old. If I look over here, Alyssa's sitting over here. So, but finally at 27 years old, we were finally able to move out of our parents' house. And it was amazing because we knew we needed it to kind of grow as individuals and grow as a couple, but it resulted in just like right when we moved out, there was a lot of personal progressions. We just started progressing and advancing very quickly. A lot of things happened for the better. So as we're finally able to get away from our parents and just like settle down and chill out and have our own place for the first time ever, we were kind of just focusing on ourselves, focusing on our relationship. I was reading a lot of spiritual books and diving into some spiritual things, which is very important to me. Alyssa was working from home at this point still, so we were actually together all the time, which was amazing. We were able to just really get grounded in our new home, in our relationship, just being me and her, because prior to that, we had been kind of bouncing back and forth to our parents' houses, and it just like wasn't working. It just wasn't a positive environment. So it was just life-changing to move out into our own spot. Then on the business side of things, I made a few YouTube videos, like I said before, but I also launched the Monday Microgreen show, which is the show I do every Monday at 8 p.m. in my Facebook group, the Microgreen support group on Facebook. It's been a blast this past year. I've got to know quite well a few people in that group who have been there almost every call throughout this year, every week. So it's been great just to hang out and also help anybody who needs help whenever they have a problem. They could just tune in. So it's fun to talk about just like life and also microgreens stuff in that group, and it's been a blast, guys. So for those of you watching this video who have been participating in that group, thank you for joining in every week. You've made it an absolute pleasure. You know, you guys know this already, but we've been having a blast. And then also I launched with Dave from Microacres, Microgreens Mentors. So that was kind of like my first official like product. Launched it with Dave and it's gone so well. We put in over 400 members in year one and everybody's loving the program. That's our yearly program where we post a video every month, kind of just currently what's going on with us and our businesses. That was all happening in January. We finally moved out in February. Something funny that happened in February, my TikTok account blew up out of nowhere. I posted, like, there was this guy who blew up on TikTok teaching people microgreens, and I was like, that's interesting. I don't think this guy is like super qualified. I like was just looking at his videos and kind of like seeing why he was blowing up and why he got all these followers. So I kind of reverse engineered his videos that were getting a lot of views. And the first try of making a video that would like go viral, it literally worked. I was looking at TikTok the other day, so a year later, and it racked up 800,000 views and it resulted in like 30,000 followers overnight. I thought nothing of it. I posted this video. I just, you know, I don't really go on TikTok a lot. So I posted this video and then I went to bed. The next morning, I just went to check it and it had amassed just like 1,000 comments, so many views, and I was getting all these followers. So that was really funny. And that's when I decided like, all right, I'm not really gonna use TikTok right now because it's just like, it just felt silly to me. The YouTube channel was still growing at that month. In February, it hit 25,000 subscribers and Instagram hit 5,000. So I was starting to gain some traction on these other platforms and I wasn't about to focus on TikTok. I liked these other platforms better and I didn't like how fast and easy it was to blow up on TikTok. I guess I like a little bit of a challenge. So March rolls around. That's my birthday month, March 17th on St. Paddy's Day. Best birthday, by the way, in my opinion. A little bit of YouTube videos. I got these gold glasses, so that was awesome. I love them so much. I was so glad that I got these. Big change. I had never done anything like this. I'd always gone for like kind of darker plastic frames. So, but I love these glasses. They've been really, really awesome to wear. And I got like all the advancements to the lenses that you can get wherever I got them. So there's like blue light reduction and all this crazy stuff. Anti-glare, which is why there's probably not much glare on these glasses as I'm filming. So anyways, that was exciting. I was doing a lot of one-wheeling, so that's like an electronic skateboard type of thing, and I discovered that I could ride it in trails, so I was just having a lot of fun, just you know, taking time for myself and just doing a little bit of business where I could. So April rolls around, weather is getting warmer, I'm doing a lot of one-wheeling, and also one of my favorite games went from like computer version to mobile for the phone. So that was a lot of fun. It's called League of Legends Wild Rift. I was playing a lot of that and just like relaxing and one-wheeling. And then big changes for Alyssa happened that month. That's when she put in her 2 weeks and was gonna decide to leave her job in special education to live the entrepreneurial life and the farm life and come hang out with me and work with me all the time. So that was something that we had kind of jokingly talked about for years, but now this was finally happening. So you guys can probably see, like, this was just two months ago in February. We were moving into our new house, and then all these things started happening for us. One of which being this huge, huge change for Alyssa. She had been working as a teacher for 5 years. Her, you know, since a very young age, she like knew she wanted to be a teacher type of thing. And now 5 years into her career, she's like, nope, don't want to do it anymore. And she's gonna come, you know, work with me and do that thing. So crazy times, crazy times. I'm also learning a little bit about cryptocurrency at this point, buying up some XRP. And apparently I thought Farmstar was almost ready in April, which is just so funny. Farmstar I had been working on, and I'm still working on it, February 2022. I have been working on it for over a year now. That's like, was my big project for last year, along with the Microgreens mentors and a bunch of other stuff. I was getting a lot done, just not a lot of content. Farmstar, I've been working on that for the past year, nonstop, weekly calls and all that. And it's just taking a lot of time. I never knew what it would take to create a software. It's a tremendous undertaking, and just gonna need a little bit more time. It's definitely gonna launch this year. We're just at the last phases. We're trying to figure out like how the money will flow in and flow out. Farmers to Farmstar, Farmstar to the farmers, basically how the money is gonna transition within the software. So we're still trying to figure that out. It's been taking months. And soon it'll be done though, and we'll have amazing microgreen software to use. Hey, I know I'm dumping a lot of information on you in this video about my life and what's been going on in the past year. Go in the comments right now. Let me know the best thing that happened last year for you. I would love to hear about it. I can't wait to hear about some of the things that happened for you guys last year. All right, May, we're starting to go outside a lot. It's getting really warm. We got super sick, I think, from cleaning the windows in our house. We got almost like a mold poisoning. That's what we suspect, because we got sick twice, and both of them we realized correlated with cleaning the windows. So crazy to even think about that you could get so sick, like wicked bad sore throat, like really bad, like really, really sick. And Alyssa at the same time got poison ivy. So that was brutal. She also doesn't get as sick as me when we get this like weird sickness. My throat gets really bad. She doesn't get as bad as me, but she had like yeah, you had a stomach virus too. So she had like the stomach virus. She was sick with this mold poisoning weird thing that we both got. And she got poison ivy like covered all over her body. Oh, so this is a wicked time. And so also in May, I had lost basically my best employee who was like running the show for me. She decided she was only working Sundays because she was gonna go get a job in like a doctor's office. She had aspirations for working in that field. So that happened and we were working the farm again. So this is when me and Alyssa started working the farm. So that's when really things started slowing down because I was pushing my limits, and then when Bree ended up leaving, I had to go back and work the farm. And then, you know, it's been like that ever since, and I've been working the farm. So more big info to come on the farm and what's happening recently. So Bree was switching to Sundays, and that was about to take up a lot of time. We also met our cat Margot. This was in May, at the end of May, and then we ended up getting Margot, acquiring her, in May, June. So in June we acquired Margot, and that was just so much joy just entered my life with this new kitten, and we are just best friends. Henry was our first cat, and we got Henry, who was basically Alyssa's cat because she lived with Alyssa in Alyssa's parents' house in Alyssa's room. So I felt like I needed, one, we needed a friend for Henry, and two, I felt like I needed like my own little friend. So we got Margot, and oh my God, I'm obsessed with this cat. She's amazing. She doesn't meow, she just like squeaks. She makes these little like noises, and she's a long hair, fluffy cat. I'm sure there's gonna be pictures of her over the video at this point. So I'm also in the process of trying to sell my farm. We had plans on moving to San Diego in February. So basically like right now we'd be moving to go live on my dad's avocado grove. And that ended up not panning out, but I'll speak to that in a second. We were also vacationing a little bit in June. We went to Montauk twice, which was great because not many vacations for this guy in the past 5 years, let me tell you. So it was great to get away for a little bit, go enjoy some Montauk vibes. And we actually saw, while we were out there, we saw the El Presidente guy, who is that? The president of Barstool Sports. So that was pretty funny. We were at a bar and we saw him. Came in and I think ordered some chicken fingers. Funny. Actually, I have a video on my phone, so I'll put that over the video now. Proof. He was at, what bar was that? It was the one with the light colors.
I know, I don't know what it is.
Bounce. We saw him at Bounce. All right. July rolls around. Months are just rolling by. I started reading the ClickFunnels books by Russell Brunson, the Secrets trilogy. Best marketing books of all time. I highly recommend them. So I'm starting to get deep into learning marketing and sales psychology, which is a skill that I will need if I'm gonna start doing more business online. And then the spiritual side of me, I was also like studying natural law and learning a lot about natural law. So that was super cool. And that was something that I feel like I've been waiting my whole life to discover. And then I finally like discovered what this natural law stuff was. And it was super cool. Highly recommend you look into natural law. It basically lays out the laws of the universe and what's right and what's wrong. It's cool. Also in July, I had a big problem with my dehumidifier. It had filled up with water and then was leaking into the pan that it sits in. And it was just a disaster. It was leaking and I had to get it fixed. And there was a clog in the line coming out of my dehumidifier. And actually, I ended up turning off that dehumidifier after a few more months. And I'm using my old dehumidifier, my small one. And it turns out it's working better. So this is making me think that we may not need very expensive $3,000 dehumidifiers. We can probably get away with quality ones that are just a couple $100 that would normally be used for like a basement or something. So that was a cool little insight I gained in switching out the dehumidifiers. See, something gets screwed up with this flooding of the dehumidifier, the expensive one. I switched to the lesser one and it turns out it's working better. This is how you learn, making mistakes and by things getting screwed up. All right, so August, I am still trying to sell my business and I guess I'm reading again. So I'm reading a lot of spiritual books. I'm also meeting some spiritual people at this time that are able to give me like certain readings and stuff. And I discovered tensor coils, if you guys know what a tensor ring is. So this is some super weird spiritual hippy dippy stuff, but feel free to go look up any of those things. All right, September. This is an incredible month. We discovered that we're gonna be getting a niece or a nephew. So Alyssa's sister is pregnant and we find out in September. I also discover Notion. Alyssa had been telling me about Notion. This is the software that I was talking about earlier. She had been talking to me about Notion for a while now. I didn't really see the total value in it. And then I discovered this like second brain thing. I was just on YouTube, probably researching productivity and stuff. And I discovered this second brain thing and also rediscovered Notion. And I started using Notion and it's definitely transformed my life. There has been one other time where I've had this transformation in my life based on a software. The first time it happened, it was with Trello, and now it's with Notion, and Notion has now since replaced Trello. It's an amazing software. I'm sure I'm gonna be making videos on Notion and how to use Notion and how I'm using Notion in the future. Now that I'm starting to make YouTube videos again, I have time at this point. I'm starting to get back into social media, Instagram, YouTube, and all that good stuff. So very exciting, but I'll talk about that in a second. My soul reading comes in October. I'd waited over a year for this very specific person in South Africa to do a soul reading for me. And that came in, it was very cool, very spiritual, pretty crazy. And I hit 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. In November, I learned transcendental meditation. So that was a game changer, super life-changing. Those of you watching this video, if you've been on the Monday Microgreen calls, you probably would have heard me talk about this meditation that I've been learning. Super cool. And also in my planner that I pulled up before, the months, I was looking at my monthly spreads, they just went blank after I discovered Notion in September, because now I do all this stuff in Notion, and that's actually why I don't need a planner anymore. Because I'm doing all this stuff in Notion, it just works way better, everything connects. I'm very excited to make videos on Notion. So Notion videos to come for sure. If you guys stuck around this long, could you please just give this video a like, drop me a comment if you can. It helps the algorithm and I'd love to get this video out to more people so they know what's been going on with me in the past year. I'd really appreciate it. December comes and me and Alyssa get COVID. We find out that we're getting a nephew. Obviously it's the holidays and we're moving out of our house 2 months early to move into my grandparents' house, which is where I currently am now. We moved out January. Basically, that was the year and it was crazy. Lots of trying to sell the biz. I actually ended up selling the business at one point, and then my landlord screwed that up by not agreeing to extend the lease just one more year, which is what buying the business was contingent upon. And my landlord had been leading me on this whole time, telling me that he was going to allow me to stay there. He was going to move me from the building that I'm in now to another building on the property, to this smaller, more garage style type building. Never did it, and was just leading me on this whole time. Now we're learning a lot of other things. He's been manipulating me this whole time, and I think this whole garage thing was for him to kind of trick me into staying on the property to kind of force a rollover fee from our lease agreement. So I don't want to go into too much detail about the stuff that's been going on with my landlord, but it's been pretty wicked. Make sure you have everything in writing in your rental agreement. Don't take anybody's word for truth. There are bad people out there. I try to surround myself by good people so I don't experience bad people that often. But this was one of those experiences where I experienced a bad person, and that's why we ended up moving out of our house 2 months earlier, because we didn't really like being there. And now we're actually going through an eviction process. So we're moving out of the farm in the next 60 to 90 days, where we'll be shutting down the farm and going on a break. I need a break from the farm. It's been a long, amazing journey, but I need a break, and that's what we're gonna be doing. So we're shutting down the farm, bringing all the supplies over to this house, my grandparents' house, which I now live in, and I'm looking to buy in the future. I've been leaving a temperature and humidity sensor in the basement here, and it turns out even in the winter, the temperature holds around 66 degrees, which tells me that I can grow microgreens in the basement. So I'm thinking in the future, I'm gonna be able to create a smaller, more downsized business, because that's what I want at this point, in the basement here, and I'll be able to pay the mortgage of this house with the microgreens business. So that's gonna be really cool. I'm gonna be making content obviously on that in the future. But what's really cool about this house that I'm living in is my grandfather built it. Back in 58 to 59, my grandfather built this house. And it's right here in Huntington where I grew up. And I grew up mowing the lawn here and hanging out with my grandparents, and I've been around this house forever. And there's a garden right out this window. I'm on the second floor, and there's a window in front of me. And this is where my passion for fresh food came from. Going through the garden, picking fresh string beans off the vine and popping them in my mouth. So that's a very special thing to me, where that passion for fresh food came from, and look at how that trickled into my life and the business that I've created with the microgreens business. That's crazy to think about. And then on the side of this property, my passion for bamboo and my love for bamboo as a plant species was established. So that's also really cool. Basically, I've loved this house my whole life. I've always dreamed of living in it and raising kids here. And now at the end of the year, remember I said we were planning on moving to San Diego? At the end of last year, my grandparents ended up getting moved to assisted living, which meant that this house was going to be open and available. Kind of. That's a story for another video. But we were able to move in, and we moved in January. We've done a lot of cleaning and fixing, and we're living amongst a lot of my grandparents' stuff. But it's just a very exciting time. We're living in this house that my grandfather built, always wanted to live here, and we should be able to secure a rent-to-own agreement very soon with my grandparents that basically says we can rent the house until they pass away, and upon them passing away, we can execute the purchase of this property for a set price that we decide on now. So it looks to be that this is a real thing in my future, that I will be the owner of this property here on Long Island in Huntington, and it's on an acre, and it's awesome. We love the house. There's like these awesome beams, and the whole layout is super cool. We have this huge fireplace in the den. We're loving living here already. It's like tremendous. It feels like fate. It feels like this is my legacy. And what I want to do on this acre of property is I want to turn the land into a food forest. So I want to be able to be as self-sufficient as possible, and growing most, if not all, of my own food here on the property. So this is a big video. If you guys are watching this video, like, you're probably gaining a lot of insights on what to expect in the future. I'm shutting down my business. I'm going full force on content creation. I want to create a ton of videos and content specifically for like YouTube, Instagram, probably TikTok again, I guess. I'm going to be able to post all content of fixing up the house and, you know, signing the agreement and turning the property into a food forest and starting the garden in the back this first season. So I'm very excited. My cat is standing on a scale over there, and the scale is literally on. She turned the scale on. That looks really funny from my point of view. The cat is weighing itself. So anyways, it's very exciting time for me, and hopefully it's exciting for you too, because you're gonna get not only a bunch of Microgreens content coming in, but a bunch of other content as well. And who knows what I'll be able to figure out in terms of growing food outside. I'm gonna be really bad at first, but I'm sure I'll get better over time, and you guys are gonna be able to watch that journey happen as time goes on. Anyways, that's kind of what's gone on this year. It's been a long year. It's been a big year. Lots of personal growth, lots of relationship growth, lots of changes. We were planning on moving to San Diego and selling the business, and now we're staying here on Long Island and living in my grandparents' house and keeping the business. Like, it's just crazy. Life is crazy right now, but I'm super happy. This was all meant to be. Big believer that the universe gives you what you need. And I have to say, this is what me and Alyssa said. The only way that we were gonna stay on Long Island is if we were in this house. And just, man, the timing worked out so perfectly, and we ended up being able to stay here. And what's really nice is, like, her sister's having a baby, my cousin is having kids, she has 2 kids already, and my whole family is here, and Alyssa's whole family is here. So now, not only do we get this amazing opportunity with the property moving forward for our lives, but we also get to stay around our families and be with our families, and especially as they're raising kids. Like, that's super important to me, to be a good role model and influence on these kids that are growing up. So I couldn't be more pumped. I'm very excited, as you can probably tell. And a lot more to come. I'm thinking of starting some sort of like vlog style. I've done a few vlogs in the past, but I'm thinking of something that's a lot more consistent, so I can keep you guys informed with what's going on in my life, because I left you guys just dead for a year and I feel bad about it. So I've come up with this idea that's called Don Days. So it's kind of just like the days of Don, just like things that I'm doing. By the way, if you guys don't know, this Donny Greens brand is something that I kind of just made of my online brand. In real life, people call me Don. So I'm thinking Don Days could be a really cool way to make content a little bit more consistently and keep you guys more up to date with what's going on in my life. I have done some filming. I got a cord of wood delivered. That could be a nice little video. I stacked it in the garage. Just fixing up the house, painting, stuff like that. But it's all very exciting and there's cool stuff going on. So I feel like it'd be cool to keep you guys posted if you would like to watch. What?
So maybe I'll make my YouTube debut.
Maybe Alyssa will make her YouTube debut, she's saying. We have a lot of big plans for the future. Growing food outside, getting fit, getting super healthy and eating better. So lots of good stuff to come, guys. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'm excited for the next ones to come. But now you know what happened this past year, and moving forward, how I'm making time in my life to get back to content creation and get back to hanging out with you guys here on social. So much love to you guys. Thanks for following along on this journey, and I will see you soon. If you like this video, hit that like button below and subscribe to my channel and ring the bell. That way you get notified when I come out with these great new videos in the future, now that I can again. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.